you want to have as a real estate investor. All right, wholesaling is cool. You can make a lot of money from wholesaling, but wholesaling is a job. All right, but as a
Yeah.
real estate investor, you want multiple tools in your toolbox. You don't want to just approach every deal with every situation with a hammer. You want a screwdriver. You want some pliers.
Hey, welcome to the Real Estate Investors Group. Again, we have another episode with a great guest. His name is Nasar, the real estate guru, and we're going to be talking about how he went from living in the hood to having a seven-figure net worth through real estate investing. Nasar, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Can't complain.
Amazing, amazing. So, hey, for everyone who's watching this right now who doesn't know anything about you, can you give us a little background about you?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, yeah. So my name is Nasar El-Arabi. I've been involved with real estate since 2007. I've been doing real estate full time since I got fired from my job September 2012. Did my first
Wow.
wholesale deal in 2011, and yeah, I pretty much done everything on the residential level. I flip, wholesale, I build. Of course, I was fortunately, I'm not gonna say of course, fortunately, I have a rental portfolio that I picked up over the years when things were good, and yeah, man, that's about it for the most part.
That's incredible. Yeah, thank you. So I know from coming from a young age, I know that you'd mentioned that you were living in the hood. What kind of outlook did you have on life? Like, did you ever you know, think about becoming a real estate investor and doing all of this?
All right, so fortunately, right? Yeah, I'm from the hood, but fortunately, I had my parents were we were actually middle class, but I grew up in the hood. The reason being, for those who don't know, North Jersey is you can be middle class and still be in the hood. In New York City, like you could be middle class and still be in the hood. So the closer you get to New York, you're in the hood. So therefore, I did have good parents. I always had a positive outlook on life. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to own my own business. That's what we used to call it back in the day, being the boss, own my own business.
Hmm.
I always wanted to do that. My mom was a teacher and my father was like a salesman. Just so we owned our house, but we owned our house on the rough part of town. So, um, fortunately, I did have a good outlook. I had a good outlook on life. So I did. I always wanted to own, but did I know I was going to be the success that I am today? Thank God. No, I did not. I had no idea of that because at times
Oh.
it was looking dark.
Oh wow. Okay, okay. I totally understand. And I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I know that you went to you went to college, actually you graduated and all that stuff. So I mean, well, up until that time, where you discovered real estate, which I think, you can tell us more about the story, but you were doing some call centers and you discovered real estate and you figured out that this was something that you could do without any credit, money, or any experience,
Oh,
really?
so let's get into that part, right? That
Yeah.
portion. Bro, this is going to sound it's going to sound really crazy, but I started in '07.
Yeah.
Me and my friend. Now, for those who don't know, back then in '07, anybody could have got a loan. Anybody. Anybody could have got a loan. And what do I mean by anybody could have got a loan? That means that anybody could have got a loan as long as you had a post, right? That's all you needed was a post and you could have got a loan. So back in '07, we went there. As crazy as this may sound, the loan officer told you what you made. All right. The loan officer told you what you made. And then from the loan officer telling you what you made, you just like, okay, whatever. And we went to flip a house. We got inspired by flip those house shows. So I bought my first house at 24. And
Mhm.
we did everything wrong in the book. We lost 7,000 apiece. I
Wow.
finished. I finished college, and I moved to Charlotte in 2008. Like a month after we sold the house, I was gone. Moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. For those who don't know, Charlotte is the biggest banking city in the country. Well, was the number two biggest banking city at the time behind New York City. Now it's number three because Wells Fargo bought Wachovia, whatever. So I moved down here. I was in the call center, first job making $10 an hour, but Charlotte was cheap, so I bought a rental property. I bought one rental property, then I bought a '09. I bought a second rental property, and then they told me my debt to income was too high. Like my debt to income was too high, and they was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you can't get any more properties." Now, in my mind, I'm thinking my real estate investing career is over. Now, um, I didn't know anything about wholesale. I didn't know anything about creative real estate. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, yo, damn, it's over because I was one of those know-it-alls, right? I knew everything when I was in my early 20s. I was vice president of the world working for $0. So with that being said, I had a sit down with my site director. You never tell your job about your dreams, but for whatever, I was young and dumb, and he was like, "Man, you should really read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad." And I'm like, "Well, my life is headed to trash anyway. I might as well read. I might as well start reading." So I was 26. I started reading the book. Read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and some things I had to put the book down because something struck, and that thing that struck was I never ever learned about real estate before investing in real estate.
Mhm.
So what happened was I said, yo, I need to learn about real estate. So after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I started buying books on real estate and learned about real estate. I joined the RIA, the Real Estate Investment Association, and I learned about creative real estate, and I learned about wholesaling. This was 2010 when I'm learning about this stuff. 2011, I took action, did my first deal, and once I learned wholesaling, it was game over. It was a new ball game. I was ready. I was ready to dominate the world.
Mhm. That is incredible. So let let me ask you a little bit about that. So you started this in 2011, right? What were you like? What was that day to day like in 2011 when you were actually getting your first deal? Like, what were you doing?
Okay, so let's go back to 2011. Every time you turned on the news, every time you turned on the news, you picked up the paper. Back in the day, this was they used to have the physical papers. For those who don't know, not
Yeah.
like you go to your website. You just like the physical papers. Everything was stay away from real estate, stay away from the stock market. It was doom and gloom. It was nothing good. Okay,
Uh huh.
nothing at all good. So therefore, that was just the climate we was in. So um, I got a mentor,
Mm.
and what I did was I didn't quit my job. I was working my job from Monday through Friday. So for me working my job Monday through Friday, I did change jobs. I had a 1:30 to 10 o'clock with Tuesdays and weekends off, and then when I changed jobs, I went to a um I went to an 8 to 5. And then when I got to 8 to 5, it gave me more time so I could return sellers' calls. But so I worked 8 to 5, and then on Saturday I would drive for dollars. Took me 8 months to do my first deal. So I would get out there, drive neighborhoods, and drive for dollars. Now I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. We had a bunch of hoods back then, low income, low middle class neighborhoods, etc. But you fast forward today, not so much due to gentrification, but back then it was full of them. So what we used to do was, what I used to do, I used to go to areas where there was more renters than homeowners, aka the hoods. Why did I target those neighborhoods? Because of you'll find burnt out landlords real fast in those neighborhoods. You'll find retired landlords real fast in those neighborhoods because they like, yo, I'm done with real estate. I had this property 20, 30 years. I can't write it off no more. Or hey, listen, I'm ready to exit the real estate game. I don't have the energy for me though, that's anymore for it. Because that generation real estate investors, a lot of them were against property management and they would do everything themselves. So they would get
Mm-hmm.
burnt out. So I would just get up Saturday morning. um, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Go out there and just write down addresses, and then do my research, and then write out a handwritten postcard. For writing out a handwritten postcard, I send them a postcard, and hey, see what pops off.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Wow. So you got a mentor, and then you started taking action. You started doing driving for dollars, sending out postcards, all this stuff. And what were your initial experiences like? Did you have any challenges that you were going through that, like, in the initial steps that you know you
Hell
you
yeah, I had challenges. My challenges were like, yo, I'm working. But fortunately, the best thing I did for me was self development. That was my first time doing self development, reading at 26 years old. This is coming from somebody in high school. I had a 1.8 GPA, so I was not doing. I wasn't doing anything but being cool and making sure everybody else got to class and dressing fly. You know, because anybody from would know that, you dress fly, and popularity means something, especially at that age. So, with that being
Yeah.
said, man, I had a 1.8 GPA. I cheated all through college, and so my challenges was like, man, like, probably like poor me, but the books were telling me not to use that poor me attitude because it doesn't get you anywhere.
Right.
Everybody has it hard.
Yeah.
So nobody cares you have a heart. Just get to the result. And looking at YouTube, looking at motivational speakers. At that time, E.T. the hip hop preacher was just coming around,
Hmm.
and just blowing up. And then you had Les Brown. I was listening to a lot of Les Brown stuff, and look for Jim Rohn stuff, look for Tony Robbins stuff, etc., and just listen to that stuff, man, and put it in my mind. But my challenges were more so like mental than anything else. If you ask me, it was more so because it took me 8 months to get my first deal. I wanted to quit. The thing that kept me from quitting, I was working the job, and there were people in there 10, because I'm still in my 20s at the time. People in there 10, 20 years, 30 years older than me that I knew I didn't want to be like.
Yeah.
And I knew if I stayed on that path where I was going to be, because I go to work 40 hours a week and spend time with a bunch of people I don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, well, listen, let me just keep going. So my biggest challenge, I mean, fortunate I had the attitude to keep going. My biggest challenges were more so mental than anything else.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and so you overcame that with personal development, right? You started reading books and listening to motivational speakers like Les Brown, and that kind of removed these obstacles that you had, mentally in your mind. And once you got that, obviously you got your first deal. When did you start to transition like 100% on your real estate business, and left your 9 to 5 job? Like, how were you able to make that jump? Because there's a lot of people that may have the the golden handcuffs, right? The job, but then they want to transition into real estate, and they don't know how to get their first deal, of course, and they don't know how to continuously get more deals after that, so that they can completely transition into the other real estate
All right. All right.
job.
So two things I want to correct. I want to correct the first one was I never left the job. I never left the job. I got fired from the job. The second thing,
Okay.
the second thing I want to hit was like, I forgot what the second thing was, but I never left the job. I got fired, right? So that yeah, because I can't keep no job. You know what I mean? Especially back then. I was young, I couldn't keep no job. I didn't have the right attitude. They made the right decision for both people, both parties. So
Yeah.
with that being said, man. Oh, you said golden handcuff. I never had a good job. My highest paying job was 38,000 a year. My
Yeah.
best year in real estate was like 1.8 or something like that. Um
Wow, look at that. That's
back
that's an impressive.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
yeah,
gap.
right? Big difference, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was in the that was gross, 1.8 gross. But that was my best year in real estate, and that was and my highest paying job was 38K. So I never had a good job. So for me, leaving the job wasn't the worst thing that could happen for me. I wasn't sad. I was just like, yo, now it's time. Now it's time. It's now or never. A friend of mine, she told me, she said, Nasser, um, you can this I got fired at 29. And before I got fired, I knew I was gonna get fired. I was gonna find a write up, whatever. I knew I wasn't doing a good job. I'm not dumb, so
Yeah.
um she's like, yo, listen, you can always go back and get another job, but you only gonna be 29 once. So therefore I was like, damn, you're right. I was like, you know what? I had other job offers because I was applying to other jobs as a safety net, but I'm like, for what I'm doing this? Let me give this a try. And then I stepped out on faith. I got fired. I told them I need to go to my grandfather's funeral, and they told I need some time off, and I guess they was like, yo, you can stay with them, save all I care. And they fired me that same day, man. And 2 weeks later, I went to a real estate seminar in Dallas, Texas, and my life was changed forever after that.
Oh yeah. Okay, that sounds incredible. So let's talk about what happened, like what changed in your life. What were your real estate activities afterwards? In order to continuously continue to get deals and all that, and obviously make a living for yourself, and then scale
Consistent,
eventually.
just consistent marketing, consistent marketing. Back then, we was doing postcards, so I would just do my postcards consistently,
Okay,
and
consist.
and I would get deals every month.
Absolutely. So you did your postcards, and what kind of lists were you pulling? Did you have any kind of lists you were pulling, or was that driving for dollars?
Nah,
Houses.
back then, these were the lists that hit back then. It was code enforcement, boarded up homes list. Code enforcement list, for the people listening, that's the list that if somebody has tall grass and not cutting the grass, somebody has a hole in the roof, somebody has a broken window. Well, the city will send them a letter, and basically, say, hey, you need to fix this window, you need to cut this grass, you got to fix that hole in your roof. Um, and that I would go after those properties. I would go after boarded up homes. When somebody boards their home, um, they have to register that with the city, and we have that list online. Thirdly, I will go up to demolition houses. This is
Hmm.
back in the day when in Charlotte, back in the day, if the tax value, I'm sorry, if the repairs exceeded the tax value for the house, they will put it on the demo list. So, what does that mean? That means if they estimated $30,000 in repairs, but your tax value was only 20,000. They just gonna knock the house down. They gonna put you on the list to knock it down. If you don't respond, they gonna bring out they thing and just knock your joint down. So I would market to those people, and those three lists just kept me in business.
Wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. That's incredible. So I guess let's talk about some of the things that you did. Talking to a seller. During those times, were you able to like extract pain, or how were you able to present something that was attractive to them in order for them to make a deal with you? Can you
Yes. All right.
tell us?
So in order, like during that time, what would I do, right? So I would just go through my question. I mean, of course, I knew about heart, but you're just talking, asking open ended questions. And then from asking open ended questions, talking, building that rapport. Um, I wasn't doing a lot of virtual back then. So, you meeting with the seller, making offers, making soft offers, and sending out contracts. That's basically it was, for me back then. But I'm gonna tell you, it was a lot easier back then than it is now.
Oh yeah. What makes you things change? What makes you think things have changed? From back then to now, in terms of how easy it was to get the sellers to go on board with the sale, and all that.
Real estate was affordable, and not only real estate was affordable, it wasn't nowhere near this amount of competition back then. and
Yeah.
and I was the young guy back then, and I was just cleaning up. So, but it was nowhere near that competition. Like right now, you cold call somebody in Charlotte, somebody in Tampa, somebody in Nashville, somebody in Virginia Beach, somebody in Houston. yeah, you're the ninth call that week, and
Yeah.
you're just like feeding their ego. They're like, well, the last guy said he'll give me 220. What are you gonna give me? And you like, damn, 220. Like, yo, why you ain't take that? And you just
Yeah.
right, you just feeding their ego and etc. And with me, I tell them, man, you should have took that one because I'm not getting nowhere near that. So,
Yeah.
and you just want to make sure sellers are motivated, but it's a lot harder to do to the competition and everybody that's in it. But for those who want to get in it, it's still room for you to eat. You still can get deals. The people are going to say, "Hey, there's no sellers," or something. Man, they've been saying that since I've been in the game. There's no good deals. They always say that, no matter the
Yeah.
climate. And when I got started, it was easier to find the sellers, harder to find the buyers. As crazy as that may seem.
Mm.
Now it's harder to find the sellers, easy to find the buyers. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. That's an incredible change of things. Obviously, things have been, marketed more now, and everybody knows about real estate now.
Everybody.
So, yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's it. So let's just talk real quick. For the beginners that are listening, what kind of strategy do you recommend for beginners to start? In order to get into the game and profit relatively quickly, if possible. So that they can make some more money and continue doing it.
Um, so can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah, yeah. So what strategy do you recommend beginners get into nowadays? In order to make some money and then continue to doing the business.
All right,
Um,
so yeah, I mean, as far as me, man, I would say like I teach my students to cold call and text. Um,
mhm,
you know, the pick up the right list and just stay consistent. So that's what I would recommend for somebody wanting to get in. You can still drive for dollars. If you're gonna drive for dollars, that still works. You just
yeah,
have to stay consistent with it. Whatever you do, just stay consistent. That's the most important thing. Just stay consistent with it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's incredible. So what are some common mistakes that real estate investors should avoid?
Common mistakes is thinking something's a good deal. Don't think something is a good deal. Know it's a good deal. All
Yeah,
right. Too many people they get a deal under contract and say nobody buy my deal. Well, the reason why nobody buy your deal is because it's not a good deal. And that's extremely important. All right. So make sure you know what a good make sure you know what a good deal is and don't try to guesstimate a good deal. Because I'll see somebody will get a deal, they'll bring it to me. And they'll say, yo, I got this deal. It's more of a landlord deal, man. You hold this. And let's say the deal is worth 450 and they got it for 399. You're like, yo, dude, how is this a good deal? Nah, you just gotta hold it as a rental. That's still not a good deal. You know what I
hmm,
mean?
yeah,
And they don't sell a deal based off this flawed logic of, man, you could just hold it. No, it doesn't work like that. You gotta give people a good deal. Maybe eventually that 450 property will be worth 700, but investors gotta pay based off what's going on today, not what potentially might go on in the future. So that is another common mistake. So make sure you're getting a good deal. Learn how to run comps, and most importantly, just don't give up, man. Because a lot of people just give up, man. So I tell my students, man, the mental game is the most important.
yeah, yeah. So I noticed that one of the most important things that you did on your journey was that you hired a mentor, or you got a mentor or something. How important is that in today's age in order for someone who's starting out to get a mentor so that they can teach them the ropes and get in and kind of remove all of those things that you had to go through, like the mental blocks, and then obviously, you know, locking up properties at wrong prices, leads to nowhere, just time wasted. And also, it hurts the other wholesalers because if I'm talking to a seller and they got an offer for 150, and when the property's really worth 100, then I can't make a deal with them. They're just going to waste their time, and so everybody just loses their time. So yes, what a what key resources or mentors do you recommend, like, do you recommend people get in this early stages of their real estate career?
All right, key resources, mentors. I mean, the key resources. Just learn about real estate what you can on your own. Some people are going to do well on their own. Some people are going to need mentors and coaches. Me, I'm the type to need a mentor and coach. I'm the type to need to
Hmm.
talk to somebody. So, therefore, don't be afraid to invest in your education. All right, we're so used to traditional education that we'll go spend $40,000 to $50,000 on a useless degree. um, I'm sure people with master degrees in this climate that are making 60,000 or below. And meanwhile, you might can pay a mentor five, 10, $1,000 or even less than that sometimes, and you're learning a business where you can make six figures every year for the rest of your life. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you just got to be willing to invest in yourself and be open to learning. Make sure that you can learn. Make sure that you have time to invest in the business with just not even just the financial part, the time part. Make sure you have that, and then just be willing to take action. That's the most important thing. Like I before anything, man, I try to get my students to think about what is their why. Why do you want to do this business? Why do you want to be successful? Like, what's your why? That's important to me
Hmm.
because you gotta know why you do it. Like my why was I didn't want to work a job the rest of my life, right? And your why got to be strong enough to make you cry. And so there's no right answer. For some people, working a job the rest of their life was just normal. But for me at that time, that made me cry because I wasn't trying to be in no damn job the rest of my life. I wasn't cut out for that. That lifestyle just wasn't for me. I wanted to travel. I didn't buy into, oh, you're gonna retire at 65, you could travel the world. Okay, I'm gonna travel the world and I'm on 10 medications trying to live. Like, what the hell fun is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So um I wanted to travel, when I wanted to travel, wanted to enjoy my life. I wanted to buy the car I wanted to have. I didn't want to just be, oh, I gotta have this just cause that's just where I'm at right now. No, I wanted to have options. I wanted to live in a
Yeah.
house and make it look like the way I wanted to look and not just, oh, I can't fix it up like I want to. I didn't want to have all those excuses that everybody else had. I wanted to have the options.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get into my favorite part of the interview. So obviously, from humble beginnings, to now doing seven figures, obviously in a year, or having a seven-figure net worth. What did you do afterwards that was like, you know, uh, the incredible, that made the incredible difference in your life, that created the success you have now?
What did I do in my life? Oh, now, when you say that, right? Um, when you say what did I do, like in my journey, was I invested in myself. I joined the mastermind. I was paying 20K a year to be in this mastermind, and I joined that mastermind. I was in it for 3 years. I had local mentors, and then my local mentors they would tell me, "Hey, bro, you wholesaling, you minding somebody else's business, mind your own business." Make sure you keep these properties. Buy rentals here. Buy this. Hold it for the long term. Don't just sell everything. All right, do some flips. That's cool, but make sure you hold the property as well. So, that advice really helped me out a lot and really made it so that I've been able not to have a job in well over 10 years, you know.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So you got mentors around you, and they helped you understand that you had to keep these properties. And then I know you got into flipping as well, and you maybe some even development is you
That's
know
correct. I did some building. I built in the past. I'm building now. That is correct. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, so you kind of took some more strategies. You learned the game in some other ways. They're higher level. That Yeah.
Absolutely, because you want to have as a real estate investor. All right, wholesaling is cool. You can make a lot of money from wholesaling, but wholesaling is a job. All right, but as a
Yeah.
real estate investor, you want multiple tools in your toolbox. You don't want to just approach every deal with every situation with a hammer. You want a screwdriver, you want some pliers, you know, you want a ratchet set. So therefore, you want multiple tools in the toolbox. Some of these properties, man, you should not be wholesaling. If you got a property worth 300 and the seller's like, listen, I live 5 states away. I don't want nothing to do with the property. I ain't got time to fix up this house. You give me 100,000, I'm not taking no less than $100,000. Man, pay all the closing costs. I gotta walk away with 100,000 net. I ain't signing nothing. You do that for me, you can have this property. And stuff like that. If you know, like, yo, I'm getting this for 100. I got 30, 40 put up. The property need the property do need 60,000, but with this $60,000 in work, I get an ARV at 300. The property or rent for 2,200. Man, let me keep this thing. You know,
Yeah.
and you just gotta have more tools than just saying, "Hey, yo, nah, I could sell this for 150." Um, well, no, I could sell it for 140, and then let somebody else deal with this. Like, bro, keep the property, man. Just keep it. So, walk away instead of just worrying about big checks. Because with flipping, wholesaling, building, you're only good as your last flip. You're only good as your last your last transaction. But when that passive income, when you start to stack it, and then 5 years, now you're getting in a good space. Like, the big thing is, oh, make 100K, 100K. Well, my rentals gross that, what I'm saying? Just that's without my involvement, they
Right.
gross that. So, you want to have more than one tool, more tools than just a hammer, is which is extremely important.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So how many houses or how many rentals have you been able to accumulate over the past few years?
Right now I got 19 doors.
19 doors. And for the people, you marketed it to get those properties yourself, right?
I marketed some from wholesalers, etc. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool. So something that's important for people to know. Would you agree that it's important for people to learn wholesaling so in the future they could potentially buy their own rentals and find their own deals and not have to pay, so much for, you
I
know,
recommend that because with wholesaling gives you so many skills that will
mhm.
last forever. That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And and so with this, you know, what what's your outlook like? Where do you want to go? Like, when you look at real estate, where do you want to go? Like, you're at this point right now in your life, where do you want to go? Like,
More so development, buying multifamily. Big. When I say multifamily, bigger than a quad, right? A 4 unit. Just like actually get more into commercial. I own two commercial buildings, but just get more into that. Just growing. That's all, man. Just growing. And
okay.
as of right now, I don't think I'm gonna stop wholesaling because it's just too good. Like, you really create a check out of thin air.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
literally, yeah, you create a check out of thin air. That's crazy to me. Like, I don't know how many businesses you can do that. Like, I had a friend. He owned a print business. All right. Now he didn't have his own printing machine, but he was like he would go out to different business, convince them to do marketing and let him do the print work. And he would make, I think, like off of every postcard somebody sent, he like, yo, I get paid like 2 cents. So he like, yo, I'm trying to get these owners to do like 5,000 mailers minimum, and then I got multiple business owners trying to get multiple business owners on per day, per week. And that's what I make off of each of them. And I just send it to the print house do everything else. But he was like, yo, I did real estate. I do one wholesale deal. I make $12,000. He said, bruh, the profit margin. He said, yo, I don't know no other. He said, bro, I'm dealing with other business owners. He said, so we discussing profit margins. He said, yo, he said, real estate is like one of the only businesses where you got these wide profit margins like that with not a lot of risk. And and it's just like that, bro. Like restaurants, like bro, that's the highest, the riskiest business to start. And their margins, they don't make, $100 off of one plate. Especially they selling the plate for 10, $15. So it's like, bro, real estate, we got it good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Um, I wanted you to expand a little bit on this this thing you mentioned. That you said that as a real estate investor, you got to have a lot of tools in your belt, right? So, what other tools can someone learn to use in order to make more out of the deals that they're the leads that they find or the deals that they find?
I mean, never stop learning. All right. Yeah, you learn wholesale, but just keep going. Learn more tools. Learn creative, learn how to do subject to. Network with other investors, talk to other investors. You know what I mean? Learn like, yo, how you buying your rentals? What are you doing? Like who's your lenders? Ask questions. Um, my cash buyers, I would ask questions. But now it's like everything's virtual, everything's behind the computer. I started when you had to go out there and really network and meet people, and I would ask questions. Hey, what if I bring a deal? You open a partner with me, and then I would meet lenders. I would meet other people, but that's how I did it. But man, just never stop learning. Talk to people. Always have a coach. Always have a mentor. Always be willing to try new things. That would be my recommendation for that.
Absolutely. You mentioned subject to. What is that?
Subject
For
to yes. Subject to investing is basically when somebody's basically allows you to take over the debt, and the deed will change until your entity name, but the debt remains in their name.
mhm.
That's subject to investing. And that is a great way to get that's a great way to get in a rental property for cheap. So that's how I bought um my first primary residence in 2014 in Charlotte, right? As I bought it subject to the owner was willing to let the bank give the house away. I'm sorry, let the bank take it. I said, wait, before you let the bank take it, let me save your credit so you don't have a foreclosure on your credit. She said, how you gonna do that? I said, yo, I'm gonna take over the deed. You're gonna deed it over to me, and I'm gonna make the payment going forward. And about 5 years or so, if the market change, I paid off the property. And the house was worth she owed 80,000 on the house. Built this 2014. The house built in 2000, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, starter home. She owed
Okay.
80,000, which was upside down at that time. So that should give you an idea, you young cats, the idea of the market back then. But
Yeah.
80,000, working class neighborhood, not bad at all. Nobody hanging outside, nothing like that. And I'm like, all right, so I took over her payments were cheaper than my rent. Payments was like 500 and some change. So started making the payments, and after the 5 years, kept my word. Now the property's worth more. The property's worth like 100 something. I refinanced it, so now the debt is in my name. The debt is paid off on her name, and then 2020 I sold it. I walked away with 60,000 tax free. I created $60,000 tax free. Why did I create that 60,000 tax free? How? Because the IRS has a code. If you live in your primary residence for 2 years or longer, all right, for 2 years or longer, you're eligible for up to 250,000 tax free, 500,000 you married. So at that time, I walked away with 60K, and I moved into this house and fixed it all up the way I wanted to fix it up. But like, and with this house, I got like well over 100 plus K and like 150K plus in equity in this house. And the way this neighborhood is going, I want to stay to see what happens, and eventually when I cash out, man, hopefully it'll be tax free, or I might just hold it as a rental. But you want to put yourself in a situation whereas you're moving strategically, and you have good options. You just don't want to buy a house. You want to buy a good deal. All right,
Hmm.
that's extremely important.
That makes a lot of sense. So that's incredible. And uh, Wow, that's incredible. So I really enjoyed this, episode with you. You have any parting words, to the listeners that that are from a similar background, looking to break into real estate, something like that?
Yeah, let me plug myself in, man. Make sure you follow me, Real Estate Guru, all platforms. Real Estate Guru. I'm not a guru. I'm a guru because I actually do this business. DORU. So yeah, that's my most active Instagram, YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, etc. Just Real Estate Guru. Make sure you follow me, man. But my parting words is just you know find out what it is you want to do, where you want to go, and just take action. The most important thing is take action. Believe me, there's a lot of people that I run into that say, "Yo, man, I've been seeing you around town. I hear people talking about you. I see you on the internet." And I tell people, man, I was right there when he was new and got started. I had so much going on, just never could get started. And now everything is expensive, etc. But they never took action. We were in the same room, getting the same information, just that I took action with it. So it's extremely important to take action and do what you need to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nazar. I really appreciate you. And yeah, guys, check him out at the Real Estate Guru. And um, if you like this episode, please go to his Instagram profile, comment, "Hey, I saw your podcast with Julian. I really liked it," and send him a message if you liked it. Tell him what you liked about it. So yeah, I really appreciate it, Nas, and I hope you come back again soon. Hopefully, update us when you get to 8 figures. That'd be great. And
All
then
right. Yeah, man, I look forward to staying connected with you.
thank you, brother. All right, thank you.
All
Have a good day.
right. All right.